and welcome to Tales of Initiative. Let me see. I've lost my notes. It's been so long. I missed you all. Thank you for coming back, for joining us for some thirsty time. I am going to be your thirsty game master, Matt, at Crossoff on Twitter, and you can also find some of my work at day20.info. Before we dive into what matters most, a thirsty sword lesbian story, I want to thank our sponsor, Raven and Riddle Dice. So go check them out on social media at Raven and Riddle, and also on their website, ravenandriddle.com. The art you see tonight for all of our characters, as well as the map of the Thicklands, has been made by our wonderful Sam, who is from Raven and Riddle. And if you'd like to go grab some custom art and for your home game, or maybe some exquisite dice to go with your new character. All that good stuff. Another note, you could join us on Twitter and social media at Tales of Initiative, and you can also drop by our Discord. We run fun weekly games, we have questions of the week, it's a whole big community of TTRPG people, and be sure to join by January 25th, and because we will be having our first big community event. So come hang out with a bunch of cool folks who all have a shared love of all things TTRPG. Another quick plug, our Tales of Initiative merch store is available, so go get your branded Tales of Initiative stuff. Billy's repping that sweet beanie right now. We've got like long sleeve t-shirts, we've got like 3/4 sleeve t-shirts, we've got mugs, we got all the good stuff. Yeah, so let's jump into a little recap. If I forget anything, because it's been a while, and if there's anything of particular note you'd like to mention. It's been a while. To my players, if there's anything that I skip in this, make sure to call me out on and apprise us of all the things that have happened in our adventure so far. But we met our ghost hunting pirate heroines out in the ocean off the coast of the mysterious continent known as the Thicklands. We're going all the way back to the beginning because it's been a while. Let's do a little full scale timeline recap. They were in the process of raiding a Dick ship, Dick being an acronym for one of the factions that are the antagonists, the arch enemies of our heroines aboard the Impolite Strumpets. And below deck, they found a ghost that had been captured and was being sort of like weird technomancy interrogated. They freed the ghost, whose name is Ika, and found a map detailing the location of a strange fruit tree deep in the Thickland jungles. The tree not only seems to have some unusual properties that the Dicks seem to be interested in, but it also might be the location for the ghost hunters to be able to help Ika move on to the afterlife. But before they could go there, they had to go to the Gate, a city built as an entry point to the Thicklands, where cultures from both inside and outside the continent kind of meld into this raucous combination. Through a series of intrigue, some emotional honesty, and some amazing musicality, the crew have procured the necessary resources to continue their journey into the Thicklands. In the process, they did encounter some enemies from your past. Maybe not enemies, maybe frenemies, maybe, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Lady Beguila, the voluptuous vampire girl boss that is currently hunting Julie with the help of her bookish assistant Suzette. Suzette has now become an interesting figure, sort of caught betwixt these two groups, as Cassandra and Suzette have had a little bit of the kindlings of something special here. Another person they encountered was Loney Trusk, speaking of Cassandra, a figure from Cassandra's past who is a captain of industry who thinks he's a little too cool for school and was previously spurned by Cassandra in an attempt to get with our very, very attractive swashbuckling lady here. And finally, there was Arnold Sinclair, the estranged father of Jesse, who left broken and bruised, and Jesse left a note hoping to reconcile. We might see a little bit of a sneak peek of what's happening with that here tonight. The other thing, but those were all of these sort of like specters of the past. We don't know what's happening with them now, other than apparently they have left the Gate, and are off doing some sort of nefarious deeds elsewhere. But they were thwarted for the meantime, and at least for the time being, the Impolite Strumpet has set sail onto calm waters into the Thicklands, upriver, to find a small village where they've located this mystical tree, along with someone who seems to know Ika, an old woman among the village. Is there anything that I've missed in the massive recap of what's been happening so far? No.
Probably, but we don't.
I probably missed something, but I want.
I think you hit all the big things.
Yeah.
Go watch the other 4 episodes, everybody. Come
Yeah,
on.
go.
Yeah.
Go watch them.
Go, you got it.
There was that glory, that they played a little.
There was
something.
Yeah.
Glory sucks.
And
4 episodes of
And
it.
so,
Okay. Yeah.
Beal has a lot of feelings, but doesn't talk about there's a lot. There's a lot going on.
You really need to just watch it all.
It's all good. Go back and watch it, but at least for now, you know enough for us to set the scene once more. But we are not in the village right now. No. We are back. The jungle fades into the walls of a familiar alleyway. A large sword is stuck into the ground here, a note pinned to its crossguard. We see a male shoe enter the frame, stepping towards it, and for a second we think it might be it might be Mr. Sinclair, Jesse's father. But it's not. We pan up and we actually see the bald, contemplative visage of Shepard. The hard to say what they are in terms of their role in society, but they helped our heroines be able to understand the languages that they would come to encounter in an interesting tea ceremony. Shepard looks at this sword and reaches forward, grabbing the note that's pinned to its crossguard, and a small smile cracks their face for a moment. They go to touch the sword just to pull it out. It's not good to leave swords lying around in the street. And as they do, their eyes go white and shoot back up into their head. They see a new place. A cavern of worked stone, walls glistening, built with shelves and books forgotten, but now remembered. Further in, there's this ominous sense of darkness. They can hear chanting in their ears, but they can't quite make out what it is that's being said. They hear footsteps. Someone just arrived, and everything's starting to get very cold. They see a tree, beautiful for one moment, and then crushed the next. Shepard snaps their eyes open and starts taking in the scene a little bit. I must warn them.
No.
Shepard turns to see a figure that both is and isn't there, a void imposed on reality from someone else.
No more changes. This can finally end.
It's all static and falling as the camera pulls away, and we see Shepard lying on the ground, their breath barely lifting their chest. But we're not there anymore. We're back in the village, and the group has just walked into a tent to see this old woman with hair all over the place, adorned with beads and bones and ornaments and ribbons. Their dress is made from leaves, and it seems woven into these heavy fibers. In her hands is the little small blue glowing butterfly that is Ika, who's fluttering both nervously and joyously. And the old woman says, "Child, you found your way home." What are each of you doing?
Abigail's just watching, just kind of step back.
Feels watching and also just on guard at all times.
Jesse's just standing back, kind of letting everybody take charge of this moment.
Yeah, Cassandra's kind of looking out the flap, or trying to just make sure nobody's kind of coming up behind them. She just doesn't feel safe.
What's Julie up
Nearby, just watching everything, probably close by the front.
I think Julie and Cassandra, you both noticed that there's a little bit of interest from the camp beyond. People did see you like walk into this area, and they were just sort of like, "Oh, they look different." There wasn't negative energy; it was just sort of an acknowledgement. I will say that as you're sort of just keeping watch, keeping an eye out for what's going on, you do notice an individual sort of like lurking in the background. They seem to be kind of trying to blend in a little bit to the goings on of people, but you're able to just kind of pick them out as being a little bit more attentive and focus on the tent to make sure that nothing's. They seem just to be watching for something to happen. You're not
Do
sure of
they
any
look
intent.
like they belong here? As far as like are they wearing the same type of clothes? They look like they're part of this tribe.
Yes, as best you can tell. They look a little bit more like kind of ready for battle almost. And you're noticing a few people here are like carrying some sort of weapon or are look at least a little bit like more militant. But most of the folks are in very light, simple garb. The individual you're noticing, her right arm is kind of this like imposing, like high-shouldered wooden armor piece. Almost like her whole arm is kind of like suited up to be able to be used as a wooden shield, without actually having like an imposing heavy shield on. But I will say that she has long tumbling hair that kind of comes down into two defined braids that go to the front and then one to the back. And mixed into the braids are similar ornaments to this older woman you're with. Not as many, but yeah, you wouldn't be able to pick them. You're picking them out from the crowd right now because of like they're clearly watching the tent, but not because they look very different from the rest of the people around here. The old woman, after like spending a little bit of time like not petting the butterfly, but just sort of like soothing Ika and just kind of like letting Ika know that she's there. She doesn't have to like fly away. She's good. Looks up. Where did you come from? How did you find this place?
Ika led us here. We're from. Well, I'm not from here at all. But we came through the gate.
When you say you're not from there at all, she sort of smiles and like you can see like there's a little bit of extra understanding there from her perspective. Like she's noticing that you're also unseen. And why have you come here?
We just wanted to get Ika home. We found her, or them on a ship. They were trapped, and we couldn't just stand by and let it happen.
I am glad you've brought them here. They have been missed since they went away. It is strange seeing someone that I love so dearly, but not able to actually hold them. Have you spoken with her? Have you been able to speak with Ika?
We had a long trip back, and I don't sleep, so there we go.
I am glad she's had someone to speak with. Please sit, drink, eat. We can bring you something. Is there anything in particular you wish?
What can you tell us about the tree up above? We noticed it as we came in, and it. I wanted to maybe take some, but it seems like not the right thing to do.
You have a good sense of you. The tree is our connection to both Never and Next. It is attuned to the spirits that came before us. We use it in our meditations. in our ceremonies. Its fruit allows us to see things that cannot otherwise be seen, and to talk with the versions of us that came before us.
So if someone just came along and pulled a piece of fruit off and ate from it without the proper preparations, what would happen?
It would depend on the individual. To see beyond what currently is can be a very weighty task for the mind. Depends on your intentions, depends on what you wish to see, depends on who you are. It would also be... It could be dangerous, but typically for others, as the memories of lives no longer here can sometimes wish to enact their fury.
By theory, what do you mean? Like they attack others? Or?
Some have. Some whose ancestors were displeased. They went on a rampage, to put it bluntly. It is not often. We have since learned much about the world beyond our own, and are better in tune with these things. We use the fruits to mindfully explore the regrets of the past. What do you know of this tree?
Showed it to us. The people that we saved her from, that's why they took her. They're trying to find it.
She kind of lets that statement sit, doesn't, just nods and acknowledges it, but doesn't say anything further. What do you think they wanted from it?
They want power. They want
Nothing
whatever they
good.
can get their hands on,
Mm-hmm.
We were hoping.
and they don't care about who they take it from.
My experience with dicks is that they think of themselves first and no one else. And they had
Fair
Ika,
assessment.
and we could not allow them to keep Ika. We believe that everyone passing on has the right to pass on to the next, as is the way of their culture and their people. And the dicks were more interested in how they could use that for themselves, their own personal gain,
Yeah.
their own personal pleasure.
They see the unseen as less of individuals and more as an untapped resource, which we fundamentally disagree with.
I am glad Ika found such hospitable persons to bring them back. This is truly fate winding its way into our lives. I believe that Ika's presence here is because they could not choose their own name and role before they passed. We have a ceremony when a child reaches their 8th year that they are allowed to select a fate for themselves that may be different than the one appointed to them. They did not get to do this. If it is okay with you, perhaps we could hold this ceremony now for the little bit of Ika that is still here.
I'd love to help
Be an
any way I
honor.
can.
I'd be honored.
I'd
If
say
it's what
that,
Ika wants.
and you see Ika like flutter at that, this kind of like nonverbal agreement. At that moment, the woman that you had noticed before kind of like comes closer and has clearly been listening to the conversation and kind of inserts herself. Ene, are you sure they can be trusted? These are not the first visitors, and I don't. Why? Why would they go so far for someone they don't even know? The woman whose name you imagine is Ene does not respond to this. She just sort of leaves that statement out in the air.
It's what we hope someone else would do for us.
Yeah, she's right. Everyone else is a dick. And we just seen this and wanted to put it right. And nothing past that.
Couldn't leave any being trapped inside of a glass jar, for a better word.
There are those in the world who fight for the rights of others to exist or to have their existence validated, and there are those who would oppress those who would want to be validated. And we stand against the oppressors, and we stand with people who just want to be seen. And in this instance, we stand with you, trying to observe your tribe's beliefs and honors system and your passing system. And we want Ika to be able to stand as they are able to, as much as they are able to at this point. We want them to be able to choose their destiny.
Also, it was a long way here. There was a lot. That ship was a
Yeah.
very bumpy ride here. We had to go a long way just to get here. I promise you that we just wanted to set things right. And we took a lot of trust coming into your village, not knowing if, we'd be like deaded and stuff. So, that's a risk on our
We've-
end too.
We've been unwelcome before, definitely.
Mhm.
Ine laughs a little bit at that. We would not attack without provocation. At the last word, she kind of like gives this like firm look over to the other woman. You could tell that she's kind of a little bristly, but considering that it's kind of this like united front of everyone, and Ine isn't really speaking out, she sort of just like quiets down, and she's not leaving the conversation. She's just sort of moving to the back of it.
Can I ask your name?
Bala,
Bala, are you the protector of this village?
I'd like to think myself one of, yes.
You are doing right to ensure the safety of your people. May I see what you use to protect these people with? What is your weapon?
She reaches behind her back and pulls out this sort of like short club that's basically about the length of her full arm plus a little bit, and it just has this very round, solid wooden ball at the end of it. It's all what looks like carved out of a single piece of wood.
It looks like a sturdy, solid weapon. Capable of killing, but not intended to do so, I think.
It is more than capable should I have reason.
Of course, but it strikes me that somebody who chooses a weapon like this is also somebody who puts a lot of thought into their actions and to their decision making, because you don't just kill, you have to make a conscious effort to do so. Is that correct?
Killing is a hard choice. When it is necessary, I do it, but you're not wrong.
So someone who puts so much thought into the weapon that they choose and the decision to take a life or not to take a life, and is a defender of your village, I think if you look at us, and if you search your heart, you'll see that we mean you no harm, and we mean your people no harm. Search your feelings. You know this to be true.
Nice. Give me
Damn
an
it.
entice roll.
Which one is that?
That is going to be how do game, how do things. Entice is going to be rolling plus heart.
Which dice
Plus
did
heart.
you roll?
Come on,
And you'll be
heart.
rolling 2d6 and adding your heart stat.
This is the weakest of Captain Planets.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh dear.
With my +1, that's 4.
Oh no!
That is going to be, for a friendly reminder for everyone that's forgotten how this system works. This is Thirsty Sword Lesbians. It's a game based on the Powered by the Apocalypse core rules. So a 6 or less is what's called a narrative downbeat. Doesn't necessarily mean that things are. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a failure. It just means that things might get complicated.
It just means it wasn't a success.
It just means it wasn't. Yes, that's why it's called downbeat, and then we've got mixed beats and upbeats for 7 to 9, or 7 to 9, and then upbeats for 10 plus. For that downbeat, I will say that she doesn't really she doesn't visibly budge at all. She's kind of just like set in her mood. Her jaw's still a little stiff. She gives that like maul like a quick little like spin across her fingers and tucks it back behind her back.
I don't think the ball on the stick speech you just gave really won any fans. Just go back.
I was feeling that myself. I thought it was really good though for a moment. Like I thought like
I have said a lot of out of my ass speeches. That was pretty top notch.
That's pretty good.
well,
Bala,
maybe I spoke about the wrong balls.
Maybe.
Nice. Bala just gives a very curt bow to NA and then sees herself out. NA bows back and says, she is very strict, both with herself and others, and takes some time to learn forgiveness. She was not originally from here and has been slow to integrate with our ways.
Where is she from?
She is from our mountain brothers, the Takwal. We are the Medori.
That's cool.
If you give me a few minutes, I can rouse a few that were close to Ika when she was with us, and we can go to the tree.
Oops.
Yeah.
She stands slowly and walks out the tent, moving out, and you can see her just like gently walking up to people, touching them on the arm, and just having like quick, quiet conversations. Is there anything you're doing while she is like rounding up a few people?
Trying not to offend people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been as quiet as Jesse in my life.
I think Abigail checks in with Ika. And has that.
Ika is like 11 out of 10 excited levels. Like they're just sort of darting all around and like bumping into faces and in this sort of like almost celebratory flight pattern thing.
Do they have any like children playing with pets or anything like that? Just like nearby?
Yeah, there's a bunch of kids playing, kind of the standard assembly of games, rocks and bone, where you throw the rock up, try and grab as many bones as you can. There's kids that are like play fighting. You can see that like there's someone that looks similarly dressed to Bala nearby, where it's like it's clearly meant to be like, hey, learn how to defend yourself, but we're having fun doing it, kind of thing.
I'd probably go join in playing with some of the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very welcoming. Immediately, they just sort of like incorporate you into the games. The translation is weird. You're hearing all of these like these words that you know should be like specific to them, like oh that thing is called something, and they're just sort of like translated into like great cat or these more descriptive long phrases, and you're welcomed into the games pretty easily. Um, After a few minutes, Ine comes back with this small group. There's two very small children, one a little bit older, and a male figure, and they're just sort of waiting for the games to come to a close that you've joined up, and when they catch your eye, they just sort of wave you over.
Okay.
If you're all ready, we can make our way towards the tree.
Whatever you need.
They begin leading you towards the tree. The you learn from just sort of idly talking to them. They're pretty chatty, and you can see that like the youngest is like very excited, and the older kid is a little bit kind of confused almost, but like is going along with it. Seems like these are Ika's siblings and their father. Eventually, the group sort of arrives at the tree. But as you get close, you notice there is another figure standing in front of the tree already. Again, this tree is this like kind of the trunk is like big, wide, and like almost looks like kind of like a weird yam coming out as it just goes like big and fat, almost like Fern Gully style, but not evil looking. It's the good version of that tree. And the boughs or the canopy is big and wide, and all these like tiny spindly leaves or branches going out to little golden leaves, and these very large. They look like peaches almost, but you saw a few in the village, especially in Ine's tent, that were like cracked open. The skin is like a hard like nut, and within it's got this like weird fibrous like almost like like a dandelion flower kind of all spread out into these weird little plucks of fruit. Um, but there is a figure standing in front of the tree that kind of walks forward, chest puffed out. He's got this very high ponytail and then long, wavy, dark hair with lots of bones. And you can see that like these ornaments in his hair are more made of stone. They are these like heavy stone rings that have hair wrapped and coiled around them, and a very large makuatil sword that he is carrying with him. I am sorry, but they cannot participate in this. This is absurd. He speaks to Ine. They have come a long way to see one of ours through to the next. It would not be fair for them to not partake. We have had warnings that more people like this would come. They just want to see how the tree works, and then they will take what they need.
Hey, pal,
Uh,
we're not here for that. We traveled a long way just to so we could help somebody find their way home, and that's not the kind of people we are.
I assure you, there are not many people like us in the world. There should be more, but we are not what you describe.
You have given me nothing but your word, and words are feeble.
We brought you
Great
Ika.
personal risk. And we have shown up asking for nothing in return. We have not eaten your fruit, we have not stolen or partaken of anything we've not been offered. We merely wish for her to be happy.
Damn right. We beat up a whole bar to get here.
And then some.
Yeah. So,
We did a
Ika
lot of
lands.
sketchy shit to get here. Is all I'm saying.
Ika
Can I-
lands on. Yeah,
Maybe try something.
sure.
Did I see if I can use the move Dreamwalk?
What was that move?
When you touch an unconscious, sleeping, or willing subject, you can see an impression of their thoughts and appear in their dreams. You may roll spirit plus spirit to figure out or entice them in a state. Can I see if he'd be willing to see my thoughts?
Ooh.
Ooh, if this guy would be willing to see your thoughts, is what you said?
Yeah, like can I show him things like that happened in like in the future in Abigail's world that like she understands because her family went through people taking things from them too.
Yeah. I think in order to do that, you could totally do that move, but I think at first you're going to have to get him to like be willing to do that. So first it's going to be an entice roll. Which is going to be 2d6 plus heart.
Nine.
9. Nice.
Hey.
So you can either gain a string on them unless they decide. You can gain a string on them unless they decide to choose one. Get flustered and awkward, promise something they think you want, or give in to desire. And this is the entice move is always like written very flirtatiously. This case, it's more of like a just convincing them literally to do something that you want. And I think as you step, are you in your human form at the moment? Are you like out, or are you?
Yes, I'm just human right now.
Cool. So as you step forward, as you step forward, he like kind of cocks his head and like notices that there's something different about you, and you see him like reach into a pouch and pull out this tiny like what you recognize as one of these little bits of like fleshy fruit fiber that's from that weird fruit, and you can see him like take a small bite, and he whispers these words under his breath, and his eyes like change to look more like cat's eyes. But it's not quite the same as like when Julie gets all like beast mode. It's more like there's this like holographic green cat's eye lens over his normal eyes.
Mhm.
Show me. Prove that you are not here as conquerors or thieves. And he holds out his hand.
And then I'll take it, and I will go ahead, close my eyes, and try to like put my thoughts and my memories and the stories that my family had told me into his, like show him all of that and like what happened.
Yeah. And this move is called Dreamwalk.
Yes, in the spooky playlist.
Yes. All right. Yeah. Roll. Let's do a roll of spirit, and I think you've already done the entice roll to like get him to play along. So as long as this is like a mixed or an upbeat, I'm gonna say that he goes along with this plan. But you could do a figure out to try and get some more information on this.
So first I need to do spirit, right?
Yes, 2d6 plus spirit. The move Dreamwalk basically lets you do either entice or figure them out. You're just getting to use spirit instead of the usual abilities for those.
Okay. That is an 8.
Nice. So you get to ask 2 questions of him, and he gets to ask 1 of you. And those questions are: what are your feelings towards blank? What do you hope to get from blank? How could I get you to blank? What do you love most? And how would you feel if I blank?
I am going to ask, how do I get him to trust us?
Do you think that this is happening like spiritually, like simultaneously with this like event? Okay, so you're not literally asking with words. You're sort of, it's this like mind meld kind of thing happening between you and him. I think he is. You get the sense that it's like, keep doing what you're doing. Like, be willing to go along with how I'm thinking about this, and showing that you're not like that you're not trying to set the terms of how this engagement happens. You get the sense that there's more to that, but that you don't know enough to understand what he might. What there's a deeper answer to that, and it's hard to understand it at the moment.
I think my next question is going to be, what do you hope to get from us?
There's this overwhelming sense of confusion that you're feeling in him, and so the answer to that is clarity. He's got questions about something that he's hoping you will be able to reveal the answers that he's looking for. And the question he's going to ask you is, how would you feel if I took away your group's weapons? You're getting the sense that this might be part of that, like, how could I get you to trust? Is that like, you, like, it's been one thing for you to come all this way. Like, yes, there's all these reasons, but it could just be a long con. So the only way that he can really be certain of that is a willful abandonment of kind of forceful power in this circumstance.
I think what I'm going to try to project is that it's okay. Like, I think that everyone would agree, but I'm going to show him what I am, and that I am the weapon.
I think there's immediately this sense of like, that is fucking wild, and he's just like, that is super cool, and it's like you also get this sense of like, that's how he almost sees himself, where it's like, you can see him showing you how he fights, where it is this he allows these unseen that are attached to him through ancestry to enter him and actually make him this like sort of spiritual warrior beast mode kind of thing. And you're getting the sense that like that was a little bit of like the cat's eye thing, is that like he could go full like spirit cat mode if he needed to really defend something that he cared about. So you're immediately finding this common ground of like, we both know what it's like to be a weapon for whatever purpose we are trying to solve. And I think there's a hint of turmoil in him about that shape, about that form. You're not sensing why there's that turmoil, but there's a hesitance to like be so forthcoming about that information, but you're not quite sure why. So I'm guessing you kind of like back away. The sort of like this mind meld ends. If you would ask your companions to disarm, and I shall as well.
We can say, but we do have to give over.
Okay, I mean,
It's the only way
Do
that
we-
they'll trust our intentions.
Julie will take off her sword and hand it over or drop it down on the floor, whichever is necessary. Kind of
If we
hold up
must.
the claws and just be like,
He kind of gives like a, yeah, I can't really help that one. Yeah, that's fine. And you can see he walks kind of down to, as a reminder of where this tree is. You can actually see the Impolite Strumpet from where you are. It's anchored over on the shoreline. The river kind of comes up to this point and then bends around this large. It's not like an island, but it's this very quiet bit of land before the mountains kind of rise up behind it. And the tree is on this bit of land that the river kind of moves around in a wide semicircle. So he moves down to the shoreline and puts his sword there. Kind of gestures for the rest of the group.
guys, you gonna.
Yes, all right. Put my sword down. Clearly uncomfortable about it, but, trying to rock along with.
I'll walk over and put my sword in there too. Begrudgingly.
Yep.
I suppose there's nothing that we would need to defend ourselves from in this village. I'm trusting that your warriors will keep us safe should any incidents arrive.
The spirits shall keep us safe. They would not interrupt this ceremony.
I'm trusting the spirits, but I don't trust the dicks. They were going to be. Consider us all blessed that is the case. But they were in line to be leaving the gate shortly after we did. My concern is that they are on their way.
Do I
But-
know how much time we were ahead of them by?
You'd guess probably a day. You're not like they could have made time on the river. You're not sure.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay,
close
yeah,
enough that you're like, yeah, a little bit of caution is prudent. You're kind of, it is a situation where it's like, yeah, this is not ideal. If they were to just storm up out of nowhere, but
I understand the intention to make sure that we can trust each other, but if push comes to shove and the dicks do get here, I would ask that we be allowed back our weapons to defend this place.
they are on the shore. You are free to run and grab them if we need them.
I will take that, thank you.
I'll slowly unbuckle my belt and drop my belt. And do they recognize that my cane is my cane sword?
I think they wouldn't have recognized it necessarily like ahead of time, but if you're treating it like a weapon, they probably would be like, "Oh, okay, that's apparently their weapon."
I'm just carrying it around like a cane.
Hmm.
There's not been a reason to draw it.
You could like, I don't think that they would recognize it as a weapon unless you were brandishing it as one. So, if you would like to try and be sneaky about it, you can.
No. I will we're here for a reason. I will lay my cane down.
And with that, he sort of seems to be pleased, gestures back towards the tree. We do not need weapons at the tree. I thank you for understanding that. I am Zardago.
Cassandra.
Pleasure to meet you. Beal.
I will be nearby if necessary. It it is the Medori who are in need of the tree now, not I. And you can see he kind of he like goes a little bit up towards the tree, but then like defers to your group to continue the way. He seems to be sort of removing himself from the attendants at the moment. And before we get to the ceremony, as you're moving towards the tree, you can see Ine and the Ika's family are all sort of around each other, waiting patiently, and they have a smile on their face as you return towards the tree. Before we get to that, we are going to take a quick break. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes. edging us. Hey, we're
It's like
back!
double dutch.
Hey!
Double dutch, trying to get ready to jump in.
What? Amazing. Okay, we are back. You just had a little conversation with Zargo, who seems to be a defender of this tree, who has been tipped off to the possible arrival of outsiders coming here. You're not sure who tipped him off or why, but maybe that's a conversation to be had in a moment. But for now, you are going back up to the tree. You see Ine, the wise. You're guessing at this point she's probably one of like the leaders of the Medori village, and her family, uh, uh, the father of Ika, and two smaller kids that look to be siblings. And of course, Ika is just darting all around, joyous that their family is here and that they're having this chance to do this, to answer this question of who they were going to be that they didn't get to answer before they passed away. Ine waves you forward to join closer. She says that in order for this, typically the way that this works is that a child will be placed before the tree. They would then commune with not only their own self, but all of the selves that preceded them, in order to see what best path lay before them for this life. I believe that Ika has already done that part of this. They are in the place between, and so know more intimately than we ever could what their collective paths are. So what I would ask of each of you is to be the second part, which is that after the child has mindfully studied this, they announce it. I believe, Abigail, you said that you can understand them, but I don't know if any of us will be able to so easily. So we are going to impart to you a small bit of this fruit, in the hopes that it is able to open you up your perceptions to things. If you would please, and she moves over, and you can see that she doesn't go for one of the fruits that's in the tree. She moves over and sort of like looks around these heavy roots that kind of start digging into the soil and looking through all of the little bushes and vines and brambles that are near the base of the tree. She searches and hunts and finds this bit of fallen fruit. She brings it over, offers it first to her family, and they all sort of, as a group, like just kind of squeeze it, and you can see that the shell just like very gently cracks, and they twist it open, and each of them take a very small bite of this kind of like tendrily flesh that almost like peels up out of it. It's like if like imagine a pomegranate, how it's just that like cluster of little berries all inside of itself. Imagine that, but like kind of like more like threads of very like gelatinous mango. And they each take a small bite, and you can see that they are just sort of like going through this like mantra phrase, and when their eyes open, you can see that there is very similar to how Zargo looked. There is this like sheen of something in front of their eyes. For them, though, it looks more like this translucent blue, very similar to the blue that you've recognized in Ika so far. Ine brings the fruit over to each of you and offers it. Assuming you all partake,
Mhm.
I'm gonna smell it. What's it
you
smell
smell
like?
it. It smells like Suzette. It smells to Beale, it smells like a sunflower. To each of you, it is smelling just different. Something that was in the front of your mind, but you didn't really acknowledge it. Something that was lurking and occupying thoughts. There is some sort of recognition in this fruit. When you taste it, it almost tastes bland. There's almost no taste to it. And it's as if it's just texture and it's just this brief bit of something before it just sort of almost dissolves away, and you immediately feel like you're back in Shepard's tea shop with your mind's eye kind of opening, and you're having a little bit more of this strange experience. Excuse me. It's not, you could tell right away it's not manifesting the same way for you that it is for the Medori. They've sort of been able to hone this into a very specific effect, whereas you're just sort of like lost in wonderland for a little bit, and then it starts to subdue, and you can see that Ine is as you've been eating the fruit, Ine takes her time and just kind of rubs the back of your hand and just draws these small circles. I'm hopefully keeping you a little bit more here. The fruit does tend to take you away, so just focus on the ground beneath your feet. That tends to help. Maybe wiggle your fingers. That might keep you more focused in here. As she goes from one to the next, you each kind of feel this. Abigail, it's very weird. If any, like, you thought it was gonna make you feel like more vaporous, more not there. If anything, it like you feel heavier. You feel like grounded into this version of existence. And as this happens, all of you see, like, you look over to where Ika was, this little like blow gluing butterfly, and instead of the butterfly, you see a small child. Their hair is like crudely lopped off on one side into this just spiky mess. It looks like a kid got mad that they didn't want the haircut they got, and so just gave themselves a new one. They're in this slapdash of kind of, you could tell that like they were wearing sort of like leafy clothing like their mom was, but they've added on these little like bits of sticks and stuff to kind of mirror the armor that you saw Bala wearing. And as everyone gathers around, and there, you can tell that everyone is now seeing Ika as they were just before. Thanks for helping me to get here. It's really lonely, but it's nice to see everyone again. And you could tell that she's like just barely containing herself and just like sprints over to their siblings and just like runs over and hugs both of them. The little one's all about it, and the old one is like clearly trying to stay stoic and having a very hard time doing so. There's a quiet bit of conversation. Ika looks up at her mom. I'm sorry that I didn't like all the songs you wanted me to sing, but I just... And Ine like reaches out, holds her chin. You don't have to apologize for not liking things. I feel closest to the spirits when I sing. I know you felt closer when you fought. And Ika starts to cry, holds herself back. I'm a guardian, and I'll see you next time. And with that, her whole body collapses into a giant swarm of butterflies that just start to envelop and ring around this tree, and they all alight on all of the branches above. And you see Ine and family start to just do this very slow, like, bouncing dance as they all start humming a familiar song that you can see that they all they all know very well. This family unit eventually just sort of moves over to your group, and even though you don't know the words, you know that they're inviting you to join, and they just start looping arms with you and shaking up and down. The older kid is gone. He is just sad and sobbing openly and just having a hard time even maintaining this little like bounce of a dance that they're trying to do. The little kid is trying to like bring him back and like just basically like pulling him around in this little dance, like leading him from a leash basically.
I'm getting into this dance. I am
Yeah.
looped in with them and happy that we're all actually friends or acquaintances.
Abigail is dancing.
Cassandra would
is
be watching
awkward.
the. Good, Beal.
Beal is awkward and trying to dance and probably not doing it right, but doing her best.
Cassandra would
Maybe
be
it's not
trying to
good.
go through the motions, but mostly would be watching the child that's crying.
Ine sees Beal being a little bit like, I don't know, I'm doing a bad job, and you can see that like she is also doing a bad job, not out of lack of enthusiasm, but just like old knees do not bounce the way that they used to. But she is loving every minute of it, and she's just trying. She's right there with you, just sort of like bouncing in the shoulders more because that's kind of all she can do. Eventually, the little kid kind of notices Cassandra staying at the edge, and pulls their older sibling over to just kind of like bring the two, not curmudgeons, but the two that are like a little bit at odds with this joyous feeling, that just brings you two together.
Was
I would say,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna. Was Ika your sibling?
He's trying to like maintain the shoulder bump, but it's just hard. He's like, yeah.
But now Ika's back with you, and always watching over you.
And that gets a smile from him, and he's like, yeah.
But it's okay to miss them, because even though it's not the same, it's a new thing. It's a new journey.
I'll see them again too, so it's not the worst.
Have you chosen your path? What's your path?
Also, Guardian, we were gonna do it together.
Well, I don't know a lot about your people or the way that you do things, but I did see the guy with the eyes. Zen, what's his name?
Zargo.
Zargo. He like changed his eyes and it looked like he absorbed part of like a spirit or something. Maybe she could give you wings.
He
Maybe
looks
you
like
could,
that thought has
maybe
never
you could
occurred, and
fly.
it's just like blowing his mind a little bit.
You could be death from above. And I'm sure they would be quite lovely wings.
That would be. And you could see him like do like a he like goes for like one big bounce, and for a little bit there is just a little outline of wings around him before he hits the ground.
Did you feel that?
I could do it.
You can do it.
I felt it. I could do it.
I think you have more reason to bounce than anyone here. You just didn't know it yet.
And he's in it now. There's zero hesitation anymore. He's all about it.
Good job. And then I would join back in the bouncing.
Nice. This continues basically until your feet are sore there, and the whole family just sort of like brings it in for one last hug, and then they start heading out towards the village. They welcome you to come along with them should you wish. You do notice that nearby, at like sort of a middle distance, just close enough to watch, but they weren't trying to intrude on anything, sort of in the direction of your weaponry that you left behind, is Zargo and also Bala standing next to him.
I give him a nod.
He gives this kind of like he reaches up, like pulls on his beard a little bit, and is like hesitantly wanting. You could tell he's like wanting to wave you over, but doesn't know if it's like the right moment. And is just kind of like content to wait back.
I'll go over.
Yeah, I'll go with Cass.
Okay. Coming over, Zargo and Bala both give you pretty curt nods. Bala is looking kind of like caught out a little bit, but she's still standing there. And she says, Zargo and I have been concerned. Something is different. You are not the first outsiders to come here. And the ones that came before warned us that more would come.
Unfortunately, places like yours cannot stay hidden forever. Where there is magic and mystery, others will always want to take it for themselves or exploit it.
Zargo is kind of like rotating his shoulders in that way that he's like clearly uncomfortable, but is kind of like getting the muster to speak. They gave us added words to be able to invoke greater power. Since then, the cats have been angry. And you know when he says cats, he means more like that representation. That's how he's like thinking of all of his previous ancestors. I thought their ire was focused on the war to come, and that we were receiving these weapons to be ready for the arrival. He's kind of looking at you. Now I do not know. Bala already had her doubts. And there's this awkward moment where, like, looking between the two of them, you could tell that, like, this was, like, some sort of standing bet, where, like, Bala was like, I'm right, you're wrong, and Zargo is, like, kind of having to eat crow here a bit, he's trying to save as much face as possible, but Bala just, like, gives him a little elbow real quick with her armored hand. And I was correct in thinking that whatever those outsiders taught us, it was not to our benefit. Their warning was meant to safeguard their own backs, not our fronts. If you would do us a kindness, we would appreciate you setting the score correct. The Takwal are still enslaved is the wrong word, but their minds are confused. They are drunk on the hunt, and they cannot depart with this power so easily. So we ask that you follow after these people that came before you and see them out of this place. Once that is done, she kind of like nods to Zargo. Once that is done, then hopefully we will be able to make peace with what has transpired here and bring things back to normal. If you need to hurry, but the growls at night are restless. We are
How long have
seeing
they
less
been
and
gone?
less peace. They came here weeks ago. They have not been with us for at least 2. They taught us things and moved on.
So, in this jungle, do you ever hear a Weemaway, a Weemaway?
Only when the lion sleeps.
This is good news. I'll let you know. Because if it's near the village, this peaceful village that the lion sleeps, then you know that your village is safe and protected.
Bala's just looking between the two of you like, what is happening?
You give us any more information about them? How did they arrive here? Was it on a ship similar to ourselves, upriver? Do you know what direction they headed off in, or what they were seeking?
Bala nods and points upriver past the tree. They arrived in ships, smaller than yours. 2 or 3, I believe. They stayed, spoke with us. They spoke with the Medori, but did not stay with them. They went upriver to the waterfall.
Is there anything of significance about this waterfall?
Zargo speaks up. We do not go there. The fish there are particularly greedy.
Okay.
And Bala speaks up. This was a tradition long before the strangers came. It is best to leave those waters alone for our sakes, but only because we live here. Each of us have our own domains. Balance is necessary between hunting prides. The fish patrol the headwaters. We patrol the mountains. The Medori, the trees.
What kind of a reception would we get from them?
Zargo smiles. That is entirely dependent on your attitude towards fish. I trust that you will be welcomed. I would not recommend staying for dinner.
Is that because you don't enjoy fish?
It is because I enjoy my flesh on my own bones.
I'm sorry, come again.
Wings are good, you know.
He
Are they going
means they have a tendency of being rather possessive over who visits and who leaves.
The people might eat me, is what you're saying.
Bala nods and Zago is like, yeah, pretty much.
Great.
I don't like that.
No.
What do you think it would be like if they tried to eat Abigail? Like, Abigail's not really, like...
I
Well,
don't know. Yes, that's a very good question.
There's, like, this twisted part of me that kind of wants to find out, but not at the same time, no, that would be really bad.
To be clear, they don't eat everyone. It's just, it's happened more than once, so most people just decide it's not worth the trouble.
Yeah, no, that's fair
no,
warning.
yeah. Appreciate the warning.
I'm glad you let us, know this going in rather than, like, telling us, oh, by the way, after we came back,
Oh,
they
yeah,
tried to
that
eat
would
any
be
of
it.
you.
That would have been a dick move to just not let you know that might happen. Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
It's
If the
one thing
dicks do come, send them up.
Oh, we're liable to
Send
just
them
chop
right
them
up.
off here.
Or that.
I have some angst left over from losing a bet. And Ball is just like, ha 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 ha.
Okay, you have to explain now.
I said that the visitors to come were going to be fine. That it was all in their heads and that we shouldn't have trusted those wizards, sages, whatever you want. Again,
Dicks.
the spell. They did not say that they were dicks. Most of them were actually women. It's at this point that both of you get the bad feeling that
Uh-oh.
if whoever these people were came here and taught them how to use like unseen spirit magic, and most of them were women, you're getting a bad turf vibe coming off of this. Which, for the viewing audience at home, turf is not just the real world version of that word. We've created all these silly acronyms because we love it. That stands for the Emotional Reform Foundation. It's a league of basically spooky witches in this world that use unseen for nefarious purposes, and who just so happen to be led by a very renowned author named T.L. Dowling. But regardless of which turf we're referring to, fuck turfs. And
turfs.
Zalgo is just, Zargo is just like, I thought it was legitimate, but it was mostly because I really liked turning into a giant red cat that could like lift whole mountains. But apparently it was bad. And Bala's just
I
like,
mean,
yes, it turns out that making the spirits angrier is bad.
generally. Yeah. I mean, I'm still getting used to this size cat, so...
Which you're rocking the look, by the way.
Thanks.
I
Thanks.
You would-
normally only handle small kitties. Well, I feel like
Pause for joke.
I meant okay, whatever. I believe that it would be in all of our best interests to stop whatever's happening, because it sounds like nefarious things are afoot.
If they didn't want anyone following after them, which is probably why they spun this whole yarn about stopping the next people to arrive, then whatever they're doing can't be good.
Certainly not.
Is it safe to travel at night?
It is as safe as during the day. The animals here are. They understand the nature of balance. These lands are attuned to the sense of things. You need not fear them so long as you have proper intent.
That's good to know, but I might still sing on my way through the jungle just to let them know.
Sing, call, cry.
I
Just
don't
whatever you
cry
wish.
in front of people much. Julie, do you
They've been
think this
gone.
is
Hmm?
I think this is a safe yes from us. That we will do
Fairly. I would say everyone else would agree. Probably worth having that conversation before we all take off, but more than likely, we
I
know
mean, we could
everyone's
just
of the same
leave
opinion
without
of
them and just
ourselves.
start head our way up there. And, they can just leave us.
Split the party.
No, I don't think Jesse would let us get away with that. Abigail certainly wouldn't let me get away with that. And Beale would be
That's
hot in
fair.
our tails if Jesse and Abigail were coming off us, so there's no way we're getting away with it.
Right, so they'll just follow us on their own. Like it'll just happen. It's how it
Basically,
works.
yeah.
It
Well, we
sounds like
could,
you have
yes,
a good team.
we should go gather our equipment, our weapons, perhaps any supplies we might need for a track through the jungle. And is there anything that we would need for our trek through the jungle that you are aware of? Any supplies? Is food aplenty? Do we need any additional food?
You should not need any, I would think. Your ship
I
is
do
rather
have
large.
one more question for you, Zargo.
Yes.
Did they eat any of the fruit?
Some fruit was offered to them in exchange for these lessons of theirs. They said that they could help if they could understand the fruit. They said that they could help us to greater understand the power that we could tap into. This was both true and, in hindsight, regrettable.
Do you know if they took some with them?
They did.
Okay. Yeah, Cass, I think we should probably talk to the others and get set up to go.
I agree. But thank you for the warning, and thank you for letting us know that you now trust us, at least somewhat, and that we have the opportunity to make things right for you.
Zargo says, "Tell your friend Abigail to thank you for the clarity." And he turns and just starts walking back into the jungle. Ball is like, "If you need any help getting back to the Medori village, I can offer to guide you. Otherwise, feel free to camp wherever you wish." You do see that the sun is getting a little bit low in the sky, starting to disappear over that cliffside that's on the opposite side of the river.
Yeah, we should probably head back after the others.
I'll go grab everyone's weapons if you
Yeah.
want to.
Hit the road.
So we do that.
What have y'all been doing? The other three, have y'all just been chilling, hanging out?
Oh, I've been teaching these guys what I call the glory stomper, and I'm like swinging my legs up in the air, and I'm like, if you guys kick just a little higher, I promise you guys will do great in any show tunes you do, and keep kicking my legs.
Excellent.
Teach everybody.
We're teaching them some rap.
Just participating as much as I can and still just being like a little rueful about everything.
I think Abigail, if the little sibling saw the big boo getting to fly with me, pick them up, let them fly.
Nice. They very much enjoy that. Yeah.
I think Abigail kind of like once Jesse starts teaching them to do the glory stomp, just kind of floats up into the like that's her own goodbyes to Ika.
For a moment, you feel like the branches like lean down to kind of hug you. You can tell that they're at peace. They've moved on. You are all welcomed to stay either with the Medori or on your ship. You can set sail during the evening to just get there ASAP, or you can take the night to yourselves to kind of rest and recoup. Whatever you wish to do.
Well, I
this was a
suppose.
pretty important
Sorry, Cass.
need.
I'm still kicking along with the people. So whenever everybody shows up, I'll be here.
Jesse's just doing the stomp. Jesse's got a dance number going on.
And doesn't even realize that doesn't even realize that nobody else is with her anymore. She's doing it all by herself. Just
Yeah.
totally sitting there.
I just fuck it. And I just keep kicking my legs up. Somebody will learn it.
I don't think Abigail minds staying at the village for. But Abigail also doesn't sleep, so it doesn't pick that much.
Well, we would relay the message to everybody of the request and the need to go take care of this. Whether we do it tonight or start tomorrow. But I would try to press the urgency.
Yeah, they do have a 2-week head start.
Do you tell us about the you tell us about that they might eat us?
Yeah, everything.
Yes, every.
So
And I mentioned to you that I kind of want to see them try to eat you.
Yeah, I kind of do too. So like, if they try, I'll just like volunteer to stay, and then you guys get away.
No,
if they
what?
eat you, you become a bunch of little yous inside them, like all lightsabers.
I don't think that's how. I don't think they can even. You know, I can distract them long enough for you guys to get away.
How much fruit did all of you eat? What is going on?
No, Jesse, it's a good question.
I think if we come to the point that the option is let them eat one of our party or not, I feel like we failed in some massive way.
But I don't think they can eat.
You don't think that now, but we don't know, darling.
Would not tempt fate, maybe?
She's a ghost. How do you eat a ghost?
Well, if you need...
Yeah.
I mean, if you can
listening,
kiss a
Julie, go
ghost,
ahead.
arguably,
I mean,
you know...
well, I mean, there's the fun way, but I don't think they can eat me in the not.
I was about to say, I think Julie would be the leading expert on that at the moment.
Yeah, which is why I'm sitting over here blushing furiously under my fur.
If that's what they're doing, that's a different story.
I
don't think that's what they're doing.
Nope.
Maybe I could just give them indigestion.
I think this is a moot point. I feel like there's going to be several other bigger issues before we get to this wild possibility.
I'm just saying, always be prepared. It's the motto of somebody.
Okay, we're prepared for this very strange, random possibility. Let's actually handle reality for the minute.
Well, they wouldn't have warned us of it if it wasn't a distinct possibility, so, you know.
Yeah, to be avoided.
That's like plan Z.
I mean, we may want to move it up the list just a little bit, but I understand your point.
Okay, well.
Up from B is A!
For once, I agree with
I
Field.
thought she said. I thought they said Plan Z. My apologies.
I did say plan. But you know what? We could do plan B.
Also, Julie, what the fuck?
Jesse, what do you think?
What happened on this island? Where did we? What? A lot changed. I feel very quickly.
Yeah, so turfs are bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Turfs do bad things.
We need to stop that.
And people further on eat people. That's what I took away from this.
I'm gonna go find that lady with the big ball on the stick and hang out with her for a little while. She seemed pretty cool.
She's gonna tell you the same thing.
Jesse, we need to be leaving to go.
We need to go stop the people from making things worse.
I realize
I'm
I'm completely
on the ship.
I'm good with all of this. I don't think you guys are hearing the same words that I'm hearing you all say. And all of them just let me go do a shot before we're ready to go leave, because this is
Can you do the shot on the ship?
That's fine.
Jesse, look. Let me put it into perspective for you, right? We can wait here and have the dicks show up with your dad, or we can go upriver and possibly beat up some fuckheads.
I'm cool with going upriver. I'm cool with this whole plan. I just you gotta stand in my pink pretty boots for a second and realize that all of the words you all just said have been wild for the last 5 minutes. But you know, I'm okay with it. Let's move on. Got it.
I'm just saying that I would protect you guys.
I would protect you too. I hope nobody eats you. And
yeah,
I don't think they can. But you know,
this is okay. All right. Yep. Shot, and we can go. Let's go. Let's. We're going. I'm with it.
You stop
I
by
got
the
a shot,
Impolite
too.
Strumpet for a little nightcap / courage shot,
Yep.
whatever this is. Yeah. You see Captain Sershi is just doing his thing. He's got his boots propped up on the table and is like, "Oh, shots."
Yep.
yep.
Cannibals, dicks, and animals in the forest.
Literally been waiting this whole time, but wait, cannibals in the forest?
Yeah. You want to do a shot, Captain?
Hush, my darling. Don't fear, my darling. The lion sleeps tonight.
And that too. Add that to the whole list of things that keeps happening. She fell somewhere along the way. I don't know what's going on.
As long as we travel quietly or loudly, it doesn't matter. We're fine.
Well,
Eustace is utterly bamboozled by talk of sleeping lions and sound volume not mattering. He's, this is not at all what I was planning on.
You know a lot about ghosts, right?
I would like to think I'm a leading expert on the lack of evidence of ghosthood. Yes.
okay.
That you could eat a ghost.
Eat a ghost.
I double fist a shot.
Julius is gonna grab
Very
the
important information.
But they are theoretically incorporeal. How could one digest nothing? This doesn't make
When I'm
any sense.
asking, but I can touch you when I like.
But you're not a ghost.
But I am.
But you're not.
What are they then?
Beal takes the bottle from Julie.
Yeah. Go ahead, man. Just hand it back when you're done.
Seriously is just like, I love this. This is excellent.
Can we call the
Passing it
turfs
back
here?
and forth between me and
Yeah.
Julie.
Can the turfs just show up and kill us? Is that a thing that we can do? I would rather see my dad at this point.
I would have to think that if a digestive tract could be built to handle incorporeal flesh, it would have to be incorporeal itself. That would be the only sensible solution.
I think you answered my question. We'll just say
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was able to assist in some way.
How would you design a ghost trap?
I have been designing one actually, and he pulls out these like giant paddles. You see, what I'm thinking is that they are raw energy if they do exist, and so what we need to do is create panels that are able to guide that energy into a funnel. But I haven't built enough of the panels because I haven't found enough raw material.
But they don't exist, correct? All right. Julie,
they don't
can I have
exist,
that
but
back?
clearly you're doing
Yeah, here
something
you
with
go,
all
Bill,
of
here
your
you go.
time.
Thank you.
So I have to assume that something is I'm out to prove or disprove as science negates.
Okay, so Abigail, stand in between the paddles. Will you fit in a funnel? Do you think you
Is this a double-blind study? What's happening?
Well, this doesn't make any sense
I'm
because
just gonna
Abigail
get in there.
clearly isn't a ghost, so this would do nothing to
I'm gonna get in there.
Abigail is a ghost. She's always been a
You've been
ghost.
through this?
Have you've not seen her in soul form, have you? Yeah,
Bill, drink more. Okay, Bill,
I
just
have
take a look.
spoken to
thank
you
you.
numerous times on the powers of shared delusions. You all need extensive therapy.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Eustace, can I see
I
your
was doing
credentials?
campaigning
Yes.
for a ship's therapist for months.
Nobody's ever asked for Eustace credentials. Eustace, do you have credentials? I don't.
I have several doctorates from esteemed universities.
In what?
In what?
Where are these universities located, Eustace?
Back in the off-camera, not Thicklands part of the world.
What are your doctorates?
Okay.
Please tell me what your theses were. Thesi? Dissertations.
You don't even know the
Thesis,
plurals. How can you
thesis.
object to my qualifications if you cannot properly encapsulate them in the English
I'm
language?
so drunk because of this nonsense. I need you to tell me what you wrote your dissertations on.
Eustace.
I wrote one dissertation on the construction of prose in High Philippines.
Okay,
And then
so
I wrote
not
another
science.
dissertation.
For
That's-
literature?
Yes, literature. I am a student of the arts as well as the sciences. And then
Oh
the
my
other
literature
God.
one
is
was
fantastically respectable and very important, but not what we're currently talking about.
well, I was talking about your conjugation of the words, which was relevant to the
I
And
see.
my
Yes.
other thesis was on the subject of high capacity flux discharge in sheets of lead.
Abigail, I'm going to ask you
Engineering?
to not go in the machine that he has right there.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Yes,
Abigail,
Daddy,
just
please avoid
step back
pushing
there.
at all costs. Abigail, I apologize.
I thought you said yes, Daddy. So that was a different thing.
Yes, Daddy, please do not go in the machine.
Daddy, I want an egg.
Abigail, if you want us to test this machine on completely normal, not ghost flesh, then definitely stand between these two panels and I'll flip the switch.
Nope. No, Eustace. How about you give us some like useful information right now, like how we are not appetizing to cannibalistic tribesmen, people.
That seems like a level of fetishism that I'm not prepared to calculate a priori.
Is it technically a fetish if it's harmful to
No,
non-consenting partners? I don't
No.
believe so.
eating out
okay.
is different.
You mean literal cannibals? Okay, I thought we were getting into some vor stuff. No, the cannibal. I think the best way to do it would probably be to cover yourself in some sort of unctuous material. That would be rather unappetizing.
Do you have anything to help us, or are you just rambling?
I have
Feel.
grease, which would taste bad. However, I think it would actually exacerbate the feelings of the previous discussion. To grease you all up.
Yes, I feel like that would be the
Yeah.
bad option. Truly, yes.
If Ghost Bill, you said that Abigail is a ghost and has always been a ghost. But if they're from the future, does that mean they always will have been a ghost?
I'm sorry. Temporally in the whole of their lifespan. I mean, absolutely interrupt me if I get anything wrong. But from what I understand, in the entirety of their lifespan, they were not a ghost. But for the entire time that we have known them, they have been a ghost.
Yeah.
But since they are from the future, does that mean they will be a ghost? And right now, where's the
Abigail
alcohol?
is here. You can ask her.
I'd like to think that Bala was
Abigail is
following along with you to make sure that y'all were okay, and Bala and Captain Searshay are just drinking back and forth, just like this is fucking wild.
Can I join them? Can I go over to where they're at?
yes.
And
I'm now
Hey.
looking for alcohol.
Conversation
Beal would, but Beal is in this now.
As this conversation is happening, Abigail is like getting like really close to the machine gun. Well,
Julian's gonna grab Abigail's hand. No.
But I kind of want to see what happened.
Yeah, I don't want to clean up that mess.
But
we would like you to stay. No.
Okay. Since you guys,
it's a trap, not like a disposal unit.
We don't know that.
Why don't you jump in and find out?
It's untested. It's unfinished.
So like I was saying, Bala, like before we got to the island, like it was not like this at all. Like we were good. I don't know, and I'd do a shot.
She's just like, I somehow doubt that, but I'm willing to go along with this fiction. That's fine. Tell yourself that it's okay.
I think I need a drink.
Yeah, here I have a bottle. Here, Cass, help work away.
I think at some point you all drink yourselves into various states of this debate is still raging versus going to sleep. Abigail may or may not attempt to be in the device.
I was asked not to use the phone.
Thank you.
Beal is drunk, but not that drunk. Beal is not letting that shit go down.
Beal is not like, for the sake of curiosity, this must be answered drunk.
No.
Both of Abigail's hands are being helped by Julie and Beal, so that she doesn't know.
Just like, no. Bad.
Is there any fruit around?
Yeah, y'all would have picked up like supplies and rations and stuff. Like that was part of what
I
you
wanted
got
to see if I could find
gate.
like some like grapes or blueberries or something and try to throw them into the funnel, like into the trap.
It's not. He doesn't have the funnel part right now. He just has the two like plates that he's theorizing that if a ghost were between them, it would be able to like freeze the ghost and kind of like lock them in place.
That's not nearly as much fun, but I'm still going to throw blueberries or grapes at them.
I mean, yes, you can absolutely throw blueberries. They plink off of the little metal plates. Eustace has at this point passed out from both intellectual exhaustion and alcohol consumption, and is in full like mode in one of the hammocks.
Then I'm going to try to throw grapes in his mouth.
Oh yes, his mouth makes for an excellent funnel. There's a small bit of panic as one of them like briefly lodges in his throat, and you could hear his like snoring stop, and then just like a rocket, just ping, like the blueberry just goes flying. I'm fine.
Cass, do it again.
Beal has wandered over to Jesse and is just like, I won that argument, didn't I? Did I win that? What's happening?
I'm still talking.
I still don't understand.
I'm straight talking to Bala and going, but like we were weird at one point. I know, like we did some things that were kind of weird, but like when we got here, things just got like enhanced. You know what I mean? Like it's.
This place brings out, everything that was within becomes without. That's at least how my dad talked about it.
What is that? Is that what's happening to them right now? Is that like they're outside?
I don't know your friends nearly well enough to say that at all. I'm just saying that it's entirely possible that things that would have been suppressed by the superego are now being exacerbated.
I turned back.
Up on my word usage. This is a very strange thing.
I turned back to the group. I guess we're all super prego or something. Is what Bala just told us.
Oh.
I think that's what's going on with the rest of us.
No exacerbating in public.
No. As I do another shot.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's fine.
Eustace in his sleep go like, pregnant ghost. How would that work?
Yeah, I don't get it either.
How would that work?
I don't understand.
They give birth to just like a pillowcase.
Yeah.
Beal is freaking out a little bit.
Amazing.
Just
Julie
like
is
in
a
the
bit
corner,
like a cat after too much catnip. Like hyper affectionate, but also a little hyperactive at the same time.
like running up and down the mast. Julie's got the zoomies.
Julie's got
Giant
the
werecat
zoomies.
zoomies!
And I think at some point morning comes, unless there's anything you want to do specific during the evening, other than continuing to torture Eustace in his absurd scientific inquiries. The morning comes. It is very peaceful. Birds chirping. The morning birds here are raucous. There's a level of like that like cock-a-doodle-doo kind of classicness, but like mixed with like parakeets that have caught snippets and phrases of words, and so it's just like, get. Captain Sirshi does the rounds. Is like, well, based on the few snippets of information I was able to extract from each of you last night over the course of several strange wanderings into the tides of scientific inquiry, I'm thinking upriver. Upriver is our destination.
Yeah,
Yes, and we
yeah.
just avoid cannibalism. We won't
That's
use
it.
the grease. We'll just try and
Mhm.
avoid the cannibals. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Good
We
plan.
have a
Cap.
plan B.
Nope.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. We do not have a plan B.
No, we
There's
don't!
no plan B.
Nope.
Ever.
Plan A or we all die.
Plan B is
Plan
death,
B-
apparently. Alright.
I think Plan B is like better than all dying.
No, I honestly, I'm with Plan A or die. That's where we're moving forward.
Yep.
I'm not in agreement with Plan A or die. I just want that to be known. I want that
Plan A or
to be
die.
Plan A or die.
Sail.
Captain.
I want to walk between Eustace's panels and then like, oh, what the Eustace? What's happening here?
By Jove, she's a ghost. It's just like starts like going over and prodding you like this doesn't make any sense. These measurements are all wrong.
Maybe it's science.
I know that I want to
Eustace.
slap Eustace a little bit, be like, my measurements are just fine, thank you very much. And then I'll walk out.
I hate her. And he just goes back to
You
his
love
sketch.
me, Eustace.
I hate you.
Hates that he loves me.
Yes, Cass, I'm sure that's it.
That's definitely it.
Mm-hmm.
The Impolite Strumpet sets sail up the river. You through a mixture of good winds and some oars, you're able to make good time. It's by noon you arrive at this like what are clearly the headwaters of this river. It is tucked into a very large mountain range that has been rising up on your right side and now kind of sweeps across to envelop the left side of what is this very large placid lake that is beautiful and seems to be fed by waterfalls all over the place, one of which is off to the northwest and extremely large as it barrels down and creates this huge like spray of fog coming up, fog and mist out of the water where it arrives. There's little dots of like rocky islands mixed in about the middle, and so Captain Saoirse starts taking a little bit of evasive maneuvers at the helm to make sure that you don't run aground early on. As you're moving through, you do notice in amongst some of these like pretty severe, craggy little rocky islands, a large like splash as something looks like pretty big, like human-sized, moved through the water. And there's just the faintest sound of singing coming from one of the rocks. Joe is peering into the future and appears mad at me.
Not exactly mad.
Moving close. I'm assuming that you move closer to the rocks to investigate the noise. And moving closer, you do eventually see, perched on the rocks, what is, without a doubt, by all estimations of fantasy portrayal, a mermaid. Her form is elegant, with this long, iridescent tail of scales that's just sort of flapping against the rock as she hums some sort of song. Long, wet strands of green hair cascading over her. Her humanoid top is like, it still looks a little on the like the fishy side, like a little bit more seal in texture to the skin. Kind of somewhere between like classic mermaid and Selkie kind of style of creature. As you get close, you can hear the song start to echo out over the water and beckoning you closer.
She's so hot. Oh my god.
Yes, but possibly not something we should be a part of.
This is one girl you don't want to eat you.
But like,
We are explorers. We would be negligent in our duties if we don't explore.
We would be tasty.
We are tasty, Beal.
Well,
Come on.
This is the first
Okay,
time
I'm
I've
sorry.
agreed
We
with
are
Cass.
tasty.
You are all tasty.
wait,
This
how
is
do you know
not the
we're
way
all
that I would
tasty?
like.
Never mind.
I don't agree with Cass very often. This is the first time I think I've ever agreed with Cass on something.
You agree with me?
Did you see her eyes? Holy shit.
Darling, they're gorgeous.
Should we go say
They
hello?
will rip the flesh from your bones.
I honestly,
We have legs. We can literally run away.
I mean, didn't we already agree that I can't?
Yes, we did.
yeah,
Do you want,
but that was
do you
before
wanna come with
this.
us?
What?
She's got like a twinkle. Oh my god.
Okay,
Beal
so
is
we
gonna grab Jesse's face and just go, "Darling, look at me."
Sorry. Wow.
I know I'm not as pretty. I'm very sorry, but
No!
that's a bad idea.
You're beautiful. My legs are like trembling. You're beautiful.
Are we up?
It's good. It's fine. It's good. Holy shit.
I
Are we
know
up
that they're
against the
pretty.
rocks that if I went over the side, would I be able to land on the rocks?
You'd be able to swing that way pretty easily, yeah.
I'm
Captain
gonna,
Saoirse is
I'm gonna go
piloted
over the
up.
side of the boat. I'm gonna go over the side of the boat and just like,
You go over the side of the boat, and
yeah.
there's a
have
very
this thing
happy
with me.
splashing of a tail, and hello.
I am actively holding on to Jesse.
I'm actively
Hold
trying
on,
to
Abigail.
jump.
Abigail, you're with me.
Yeah, I don't think you should be going by yourself.
Gonna have to
Hello
follow
there.
them.
Mm.
Hello,
Matt took. I
what's
wonder
your
if they
name?
can eat a ghost as a challenge.
I'm Cassandra.
Cassandra. And as she says the name, it sort of just like floats through the air on this like singing voice.
Sounds so lovely when you say it. This is Abigail.
Abigail.
Yo, let me go. I want to hear my name.
No,
Come on, Jesse.
I'm
No, Jesse,
trying.
no. I will break your leg.
Holy shit! What?
Jesse.
Oh, not a
And
good
She hits
idea.
this like high note and just like vibratos with it, calling out to Jesse.
My legs just start quivering. I'm like, what?
Can I put my toe in the back of Jessie's knee and just like make her leg buckle? I don't want to hurt her, but I want her to sit down.
I'm totally okay. I'm totally okay with you just saying you do that if Jesse is
I'm fine
opposed.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Okay.
I am so distracted.
Would this qualify towards Fools Rush In? Or is it on its
Oh,
own
fuck.
qualifying?
What
towards
does that
Fools
move
Rush In?
do?
When you vault into a situation without forethought and wind up way over your head, give someone dangerous to you a string, mark XP and take +1 forward to defy disaster.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. This does. So
Yay!
I'm gonna hold on. I need to pull up Roll20 and make a mermaid section for this string.
I got
You
a-
can't lay it out in front of us, Matt. You fucked up.
I did. It's great.
fucked
I
up.
love it. I have not fucked up. This is what. Why did you think? Remember episodes ago when you're like, we should find mermaids, and I was like, yes.
Yes,
Oh.
Good. Use
You
your
know, you're-
thirstiness.
You're not exactly like I thought you would be based on the stories. You're much more beautiful.
I've heard no stories of you, but perhaps we could make stories together.
What? Wait, what? Wait, hold on a second. You've not heard of me?
You believe
No.
it, Cass?
We don't hear.
That's the thing that trips Cass up.
We don't hear much about the world beyond our own. We're just in this little lake, all by ourselves.
The reason for
Jesse,
that.
they're all by themselves.
I hear it!
Outside.
Oh my god!
I think this is getting a little shady. Maybe we should.
Have you heard of Abigail, the ghost from the future?
A ghost? I haven't heard of Abigail, a ghost from the future, before.
You know what? I'm just gonna. I think we should go. I'll just show you the Little Mermaid later.
But please don't
Abigail,
leave. We're lonely.
Please don't leave.
Don't.
They're
Why would we
lonely.
leave? Don't. Cass, don't leave. That's
I'm not
Dumb.
leaving.
Julie hit Cass on the head, please.
Abigail, if you would like to leave, I will need you to defy disaster. Specifically with either spirit or heart.
I don't have any. 10.
10. Okay. Abigail, you like there's moment where like you're getting the vibes of things turning a little bit spooky, and you see her grin, and her face is doing this like uncanny valley thing where it's like hot 1 second, not the next, and it's like the grin turns like just a shade too wide, and the teeth start getting real sharp and pointy, and it's just like nope, not hot, spooky, not hot.
I mean, maybe a little. No.
Maybe a little bit. Just a little bit.
hell yeah.
I'm not a coward.
Um,
I'm not a coward. Bring me that monster girl shit. I'm not a coward.
Grandma, what sharp teeth you have.
Please, we have so many friends that we could make together. And you hear like another loud splashing from a nearby rock, and this time one with like purple hair that's just coiled ever so lovely around their face is like perched on a rock. Jesse!
Bill, let me go! God! Let me go! Really quick, it'll be like 2 minutes! 3
Just
minutes!
pull away. You can do. I believe in you, Jesse.
Okay.
Join me.
Can
Can I
Julie?
like?
It will be forever. It will not be 2 minutes.
It won't be forever. We don't have a lot of it won't be forever. That's a little ridiculous of a time amount. And I start trying to get up and climb over the railing.
Darling, they're going to murder you.
They're not gonna murder me. They're trying to they're lonely.
They're not.
They just want to be friends. They don't have friends like us.
No, they're hungry.
Oh, they want some more dwarves, okay? So they want food. They want a lunch. They want a lovely breakfast, okay? And brunch, maybe, considering that we're all hungover right now. It might be a little bit of a Bloody Mary in the morning.
Hang
Quite
on.
literally the Bloody Mary.
Hey, we have food on the ship! Do you guys want to come with us?
No! I fully clapped my hand over her mouth. Just, like, absolutely not.
You see, you hear the one with the green hair, say, "You all do certainly look like tasty morsels. We die 1,000 times a day in all the best ways." And they like flaps their little her fins.
That makes no sense, and I'm not falling for it.
Can Julie use
I was tasty.
Can Julie use BDE and jump off the ship, pick up Cass, and then lift her back onto the ship?
Hell yeah.
BDE. I need to look this up. What's BDE? What does it do?
Oh hell yeah! I love that. That move's awesome.
When you make it clear to your foes that you're the biggest threat, then for the rest of the scene, whenever you roll a 10+, you may choose someone present to be impressed or intrigued with you. Once during the scene, when you gain a string on someone, gain an additional string who also considers you an enemy. Okay. Let me see. This is definitely going to be a Defy Disaster roll from both Beal and from Julie. Julie, you could definitely see that the one with green hair is like reaching out to Cassandra. Come on, let's swim. Let's swim. Let's get wet. Let's swim.
Do it, Cass!
No.
Do it!
So Beal, I would say you are Defying Disaster probably with daring. I would think just like being forceful and like not letting Jesse talk. And I would say the same thing for Julie. You are doing Defy Disaster with daring.
Daring, okay.
10.
10?
I don't know how I did that, but that's a 14.
What is your plus daring?
+2. I got.
Did you get double sixes?
Oh, you doubled sixes?
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
So, yeah, Julie, you, like, Cassandra, you are about to, like, reach out and go into the arms of this waiting mermaid, whose hair is just falling ever so, like, perfectly lewdly, where it's never too much, but it's just enough, and poof, landing in front of you is this werecat, Julie, who just, like, takes a swipe out at the fish, and you see her, like, her whole face and like mouth and everything go very eel like, just these needle like teeth and like this angry look as it sort of flops backwards into the water, and you're both able to like rally back to the ship.
What happened?
I said no.
What?
I said no. I said it was a bad idea, Cass. I told you.
What happened? I was just.
What
I was
happened
on the boat.
was you
I was
almost
on the side of the boat, and now I'm getting back in. What happened?
Good job.
wanted to get eaten by a mermaid, fish, yolk, eel thing. I don't know, but you were gonna get
Well, I
eaten.
mean, who doesn't want to? I mean, that's every little girl's fantasy, isn't it?
Snow!
Not that eaten.
Oh! Wait, what?
Like actually, you know.
Consumed.
No, why didn't we?
Consumed,
Why didn't
I
we-
say.
Why didn't we like do the plan B?
Plan B is everyone
Plan B
dies!
didn't work.
No, that was no. Plan B was Abigail gets eaten, and we see how that works.
I mean, I
Yeah, but
think
that didn't
Abigail is still there.
Okay.
Cass, that was pretty
Yeah, what's
awesome.
Abigail doing? Abigail, you kind of got this like you're seeing through that glamour. You're kind of noticing the weirdness here. What are you doing? Or are you just going back to the ship?
Kind of there, and I'm just like, what? How does this,
Abigail,
how
get
does
back
this
on the
all
ship.
work?
Get back on the ship, please. Get back on the ship.
No, you guys are interesting, but I gotta go.
But
Yeah.
please stay. You can meet her. And you hear another voice. You can meet her. Her.
Who's
Singing
her?
from
Who is
far
her?
away.
That's what I'm saying. Who's her?
Get on the ship!
That's what you were trying.
Anyway.
Who is her?
Who is her?
Hands back
Yeah,
over
without-
Jesse's mouth. Also, I
Bite it, Jesse. Bite it.
Who's her?
gently slap Jesse's face a little bit, just like, no!
Oh!
Not
Jesse's
so much
turned
that
on.
it hurts, but just enough that it's like, mm.
How?
Jesse's turned it on now.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Just
we
simply to your friend's name. Jezebel.
Jesse has always been a brat, and we're gonna play this out.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
Jezebel.
Huh?
Sounds beautiful.
That does. That
Jezebel?
is that like a nickname? That's
Jezebel. She is the oldest of all of us. Oldest
Whoa,
and
whoa.
wisest. Oldest and
We're not-
fairest.
I mean, I'm not into.
And you're just hearing
I'm not
these
into
voices
oldies.
like sort of singing out from different points in the rocks.
I think my meal is better, so I'm gonna.
So is she like a mermaid? I'd like. Never mind.
I mean, we should at least meet her. That seems rude.
No.
It seems rude to
Jesse,
come
we
so
can meet
far.
her when we come back. Okay?
I'm
We're
gonna
be coming
grab
back this
Jesse's
time.
face again and just look her straight in the face and go, no, we're not doing
Look-
that.
Jesse, we've tried so hard and we've got this far.
In the end, it
I
feels like
feel-
it doesn't even matter.
If we don't get to meet her, especially.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Dance beneath the waves with
I'm
us.
telling you,
No.
there are no other options. We're not doing this.
But we're so shiny underwater.
But they're so shiny
Jesse, I
underwater.
will pay you back. I
We could
understand.
sing.
I will pay you back later.
Wait,
What? What? What?
We'll pay you back now.
Don't pay me back now.
I do like immediate gratification.
Hi. Cass is
I
the
can
person.
pay you back now if you want to. Just can we leave?
Wait, what?
If you give me 5 minutes, we can make.
We need longer.
We
than
need a
5
safe
minutes,
word as a crew. I know, but let's just. I'm trying.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
They're being
Hold on, what's
complicated as usual.
It's
Okay,
hard.
let's
Since
look
when
at
do you
this,
want it to be fast? I don't understand.
Let's look at this. Let's do like a pros and cons. Mermaids, what are you offering now?
Quick and deadly,
Well, you say deadly.
long and alive.
Pro shiny underwater.
Pro.
Pro,
Hi,
real
Jesse.
people who aren't going to murder you.
Can I point one thing out about this entire situation? Me and Cass don't agree on very many things. This is the first
Yeah,
time.
and
There's
neither
a
do Julie
reason
and
for
I.
that. That's true. Actually, that is true. Bill and I barely spoke this whole trip, and yet this entire
Yeah.
journey now, at this point,
We are now
agreeing
best
on
friends
everything.
as of this moment
entirely.
because of you.
So because of you, you'll never stray too far from the sidewalk?
Boo.
But mermaids, I'm...
Rope. Can I tie them up, please?
Thank you, Matt. Can I tie them up?
Do you, yeah, do you, do you,
Have we a
yeah, do
nest?
you
Can
want
we
to,
go fishing?
Yeah, do you want to Iliad this? Do you, or Odysseus?
Would I'm gonna say this in the most straightforward and least creepy way possible. Beale would very much like to tie Jesse up.
So would we. We have seaweed.
So would they. They have seaweed.
Organic.
Why don't we tie them up first?
I have silk.
Tie them
This
to
is
the
not
rocks
the conversation
and
we need to have.
lavish them in the
Be
tide.
having.
No.
My
I
legs are
think Abigail
full.
comes back at that point and she's like, oh.
That got Abigail. Abigail's on
I
board.
just got interested again.
Okay.
I'm going to start working
Abigail
my way
gets
back
everyone
to
in right
the boat.
I
I'm
have.
gonna go try to grab Jesse and try to help Jesse to escape over the side of the
No,
boat.
I'm tying Jesse up.
I'm
fully
tying
tying
Cass
Jesse's
up.
My
Like,
my
so-
body is
Tying
gone.
her to the mast.
Right now.
I have lost all control of my limbs. Like I am like hearing the mermaids, and I'm like,
Yeah, Jesse is tied to the
incredibly
mast
dumb.
with not safety loops, like not the way that you would like if someone wants to get out. Like, no, you're tied until we
Fully-
let you
yeah.
out.
That is not
I will say
consent.
that
It's not
I will say
sexual.
No, it's important point.
Yes!
Important-
for their protection.
Important
Yes.
safety point. Only doing this to save their lives.
I am not fighting it. Also, I very much want to say that. I'm absolutely not. I am just like so baffled by these mermaids right now.
Yeah, you're. It's kind of sensory overload for Jesse at this point. I will say that Beal is able to, because you rolled the 10 on the Defy Disaster. Like you've already been like, okay, clearly we need to start tying up the horny ones and keep them from just jumping overboard. So you've already been like enacting this plan and like, no, I'm tying her up. I'm going to tie her up. I've already done it, and like cinch her to the mast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Also,
see the different
from-
colors of hair and stuff popping up.
I
of
have
all the mermaids.
a-
I'm gonna try to jump over again because I want to taste the rainbow.
Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. I was gonna hog tie
That's
Cass.
not a good reason.
So
Nice tie cast.
Abigail, what
Also,
are you
Matt-
doing?
I
Oh,
got
that's
I got a string on Jesse from my devoted playbook move.
Ooh, very nice.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Oh,
Let me add that there.
Cass, you're so lucky.
Which move was that?
Gallant rescue.
Ooh, nice. So wait, is that the fourth
My
one? Does that
girlfriend's
trigger a
not
string
here.
advance?
It might.
I'll cover for you, Cass. I won't. I'll make sure she doesn't find out. I got you.
Yeah,
Beal's-
that triggers a string advance. So hold on, let's resolve
What
this.
does that do?
So, whenever you gain the fourth string on someone, you have profound insight and learn something about them that even they don't know. The player tells you what you
Woohoo!
learn, possibly asking the GM for ideas. It's up to you whether you share that insight with the character or not. In addition, clear all but one of your strings on them and gain 2 XP. So, Beal
Hey.
gains 2 XP, you're down to only
Ooh.
1 string on Jesse. But, Jesse, Beal learns some sort of profound insight about Jesse. What is that?
Hmm.
In this strange moment of being coaxed overboard by a bunch of weird mermaids.
I will
Oh.
tell you that Beal's Dom energy is coming out, and it's not an energy that she knew she had.
I would say,
If that helps at all.
I would say that Jesse is for sure. I would say when Jesse is flustered, the insight is like all fucking Dom energy that she tries to exude at all is just gone. She's just like, what? I think that would be the insight for sure. Like she is just like noodle everything right now.
Nice. Just clay in her hands.
Yeah, just okay.
Abigail, are you trying to get back overboard? Have you been coaxed back into this hornet's nest?
Oh, I mean, with that Defy Disaster, with that, and I think just remembering about her own feelings for Beal. Like, they're not as pretty.
They're not as pretty as they think they are. Like, just fish
I
ladies.
have Julie and Beal, and Jesse's so pretty, and look at them.
Cassandra, are you still attempting to get overboard?
Yeah, my girlfriend's not here.
Julie, Divine Disaster. If you're trying to stop it, yep.
Yep.
9.
9 is still good enough.
Can I help?
Yes, yeah, but I'd say between the two of you, you're able to like get Cassandra. Like you're at least, even if you're not able to tie her up because Cassandra is like ducking and evading and stuff, you're at least able to like box her out and keep her from jumping overboard. Or like when she jumps overboard, you like pirate swing in and catch her, just as like a mermaid jumps up to try and grab her. And Captain Searchy is like now actively piloting away from the rocks and like that was fun, but clearly you girls are whew, okay. We'll just dodge that slippery fish.
While they're like boxing Cass out, can I tie Cass to the
Nice.
other side of the mast?
Can you what?
Can I tie Cass to the other side of the mast?
Yes, I would say that you're able to Odysseus your various members with low impulse control for the time being.
Somehow my shirt gets torn open in the process. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Which is only making the singing like worse. They're just singing even more now. You do
I
notice.
like reach out and grab Jesse's hand and like give her a hand to squeeze.
I'm
You were
right
so
there with
close.
you.
were so close.
You almost got to touch them. I didn't even get to touch. Okay.
On the way back.
Oh yeah.
Julie's gonna put an arm around Abigail and an arm around Beale and just like shake her head and be like, "They're both horny idiots." Like,
Those horny idiots.
Wow.
The Impolite Strumpet starts to take a wider route around this lake, kind of steering clear of the outcrops of rocks in the middle. That song is still kind of filling the air, and you occasionally hear it, but the Impolite Strumpet's like making way for more of those waterfalls to like kind of drown out the noise a little bit and make it a little bit easier. And in so doing, you notice something very strange about that largest waterfall. That largest waterfall is a water rise. It is coming up out of the lake and is going up the mountainside.
Ooh.
It's not.
Where we need to go?
Captain Saoirse is just sort of like, well, that's unusual. I'm tempted to say we just go with it.
What's happening? Can't see very well from here.
Are you less horny now?
No.
Am I less horny now?
Beale,
That is not a decision that I can weigh in on. I refuse. That is not my call.
How long has it been since we left?
Oh, about like 10, 15 minutes, maybe.
Nope.
Decent amount of time.
Nope.
No.
Takes a lot more time to come down. It's not helping that like even though the waterfalls are nearby, that's like drowning out the noise. You're getting that like waterfall mist on you. So like Jesse and Cassandra are both just like sort of
We glisten.
yeah.
Beale is distracted.
The whole ship is glistening. Eustace just looks sweaty.
Poor Eustace.
Poor Eustace. It's just not his
Can I-
thing. It's not. Everyone's got a thing, and it's not his.
Listen, Ace is totally valid and part of the Alphabet Mafia.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In a very not Ace way, can I just go and put one finger under Jesse's chin and like force her to look me directly in the eyes? And just go,
Yes.
I'll take care of you later.
Oh.
And then fully walk away because she's terrified at that amount of like, oh, did I do that? What?
That was too
I
much.
will
That
just
was
like,
too much.
I'll just like lean over, like whisper, "Lucky bastard."
Abigail has turned into a burning sword and has rolled away. She's not coming out.
So Captain Saoirse is looking to the clear-headed members of the crew and sort of like, should we try? I've never sailed vertically before.
I trust your judgment.
got us this far, Captain.
Well, clearly no one on this ship is afraid to get wet, so here we go! It just
Never has
spins
been,
the wheel into the waterfall. It is this very strange sensation as the ship barrels forward towards this water that is not falling, this water that is going up, and immediately the ship just like you just feel it start to go back and back and back and back. All of a sudden, Cassandra and Jesse are probably like the safest people on the deck as they're just going along for the ride. They're fine. They're tied up, and everyone else is like kind of scrambling to like find a handhold. Eustace has like cocooned himself in a hammock below deck. Like, no, this is utterly unsatisfactory.
I can just imagine Abigail's like sword form is just like rolling.
Oh, I'm absolutely gonna
Passes it down the ship and grabs it.
Yeah, absolutely running after Abigail. And then can I throw like a rope to Julie and just be like, listen, if we'll wrap this around something, we can at least hang on, but someone has to get her.
Yeah, I got her. Yeah.
All right, here, I'll hold on to this. I'll get us anchored off somewhere and like just go anchor us off so that we don't fall off the ship as well.
My feet are just like
If I
dangling
can tie the captain to the wheel,
Yeah,
I would
me
love
too.
to do that as well.
And I'm just wee as my feet are dangling and I'm kicking.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
Cassandra's just enjoying it. Yeah, the ship just rises up on this giant stream of water, up, and this is like the biggest waterfall of all of them. So you're going for quite a ways, and it's starting to get like, are we gonna tip off of this thing? Like, what? How do we vertically orient a ship? This is not cool. Gravity, please go back to normal. The ship goes over the edge, vertically switch back to horizontal, and there is this massive splash as you arrive into a very large cavern. And up ahead, you see 3 other ships, smaller and matching the description of the ones you heard about from Bala, moored in this, like, cavernous dock. And up ahead, there is darkness and just the faint hint of chanting. And that is where we shall stop for this episode of Thirsty Sword Lesbians, What Matters Most. That is an excellent job, everybody. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We have arrived at the cave. What waits inside, we shall see in 2 weeks' time. Join us in 2 weeks on Saturday. What is the date? Saturday, the 29th of January.
Mhm.
And we will bring this story to a possible conclusion. Find out what happens
What?
at the
No!
top of this waterfall. It's getting there, y'all. We are at the precipice of what will happen with this story. I'm very excited. But we have one more move to end our game. We have the end of session move, as always.
It's so hard to say goodbye.
It's so hard to say goodbye. So, any PC confess their love. I don't think any of you love the mermaids, even if you wanted to,
Oh,
to dance with them.
You don't know. I
You
never
don't
got
know.
the chance to tell them.
I didn't get the chance to tell them how I feel. Any PC struck a blow against depression or de-escalated a violent situation? Yes, with
I feel like
Zarko.
Basically.
Absolutely,
Situation.
absolutely de-escalated
Yeah.
the shit out of that, and with the mermaid. So definitely, everyone mark an XP for that.
So do
any
we get
PC
do we get 2 experience there?
just one. It's a binary
Okay.
yay or nay on whether or not that happened at all in the session. But you're gonna get some more because any PC leapt into danger with daring and panache. Absolutely, Julie did to rescue Cassandra from her whims. And any player used a safety practice such as adding to the pallet or checking in.
we did check in for the tie for when we were tying people up.
We did. Excellent.
Mhm.
Excellent job, everyone. So that's 3 XP total for that end of session move. Wonderful.
I get 2 levels here today, and I don't even know.
I do
I don't
as
even know what I
well.
have left. I don't even know what I
Oh.
have left now at this point.
Can I also just let me give Beal a string? Because holy shit for that fucking ending. Good on you, man.
Also, after using BDE, I also get a string on someone, I believe.
Yes.
Probably me.
I would say,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say you definitely get a string on the mermaids.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
I
shit.
think you're pretty
You
cool.
get to choose who you.
Cass doesn't
You
get
press-
strings. Cass
Huh?
just
What, Danny?
I think. I think the move is you get to choose who you
You get to what?
choose who it impresses.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Once during the string, when you're getting a string on someone, get an initial string. You may choose someone present to be impressed or intrigued with you. Okay, yeah. So who do you choose to be impressed with you?
Beal.
Choose carefully. Hey, nice.
Beal is very impressed with you. Beal will give you an extra string.
So now that is oh man. Julie has a string on literally every PC. And
Jesus.
several NPCs. Y'all are armed to the teeth with strings, which is good because
I don't think I have any strings. If I do, I only have like 1.
you do. You have a string on Jesse, and you have a string on Suzette,
Oh,
which is good because we're getting
That's
to the
good.
end game here.
It's terrifying. I mean,
It's
we
gonna be
better because
fun.
I only have one more thing. Like, if I level up 2 more
Before-
times, I have to switch. I have to switch
Before you
playbooks
have to
or
switch
end my
playbooks,
whole
yes.
thing. Yeah.
Oh,
I am so excited. I am so eager to see what happens next. Thank you for joining us, everyone, and we will see you in 2 weeks for what could very well be the thrilling conclusion of what matters most. Goodbye, everybody.
For that.
Goodbye, everybody.
Not ready for that.
I know.